Hello, I'm Johnny Cashflow, and I know what you're thinking. You just came out of the coma, so where's the content? Or you're thinking, who the hell is this Johnny Cashflow guy and why should I care? Both very great questions and both very relevant. So basically, to answer the first question, is I got some new software that I've been working on and working with to try and make new videos and better content for you guys. And so because I'm so dumb when it comes to all this newfangled technology, I had to watch some videos, and I'm still trying to figure it out. So hopefully you like this video better than the other videos that I'm gonna make or that I have made. Hopefully you'll like the future content with the new stuff. So anyway, so I'm getting used to it. So let me know what you think down in the comments or whatever. But what I really wanted to talk about real quick using this new software is to just quickly talk about some misconceptions and something that I kind of ran across today in a video by Modern Medusa. Now, Modern Medusa is a YouTube personality, link in the description, where she kind of talks about men's rights issues. She talks some anti-feminist, some general anti-SJW kind of genre videos. And she kind of does some live streams with this person, this other YouTube personality known as Reading Ren, or just Ren for short. So they kind of put out this video called Lovely Ladies for Men's Issues Calendar Indiegogo Promo, where they talk about basically making these calendars, or basically products using like pinup style females to be able to promote men's health and men's health awareness, because there's obviously tons of information out there promoting women's health. You know, all you have to do is look at breast cancer awareness versus prostate cancer awareness, and you can kind of see the discrepancies there. So they came up with this idea of doing like a pinup calendar type of thing to be able to promote men's health awareness. All right, so in the video, Modern Medusa and Ren were kind of doing this silly back and forth kind of promo thing, and they mentioned bringing on Blair White.
Summer loving had me a blast.
Summer loving happened so fast.
I met a girl crazy for me.
Met a boy cute as for me.
Summer days drifting.
Who is a very fantastic and a wonderful transvestite, transgender, whatever the heck you want to call it, on YouTube. Again, link in the description. Check her out. She's great. Now then, my issue has nothing to do with anything that they talked about. I support them, and I wish them the best of luck in their endeavors. My issue comes in one of the commenters. This John Bon Jovi guy. Now this guy, he starts off his comment with, Blair White, the tranny, please tell me you're kidding, for Christ's sakes. And Modern Medusa replies back, you know, why would I be joking? And he kind of goes on in this tirade about, poorly grammatically worded, but essentially talking about, because it's called Lovely Ladies for Men's Issues, not Science Experiments for Men's Issues, and saying that Blair White is disgusting. He said that this is fucking disgusting, what they're doing, suggesting that they would want to have Blair White in this pinup calendar, right? And he kind of espouses this very, I would say, bigoted. I hate using the term bigoted because it's so used widely and misused to label people who aren't actually bigots. But this one is I think he definitely falls under the line of being bigoted. If we go under the Merriam-Webster dictionary definition of bigot, a person who is son of a bitch. Based on a Merriam-Webster dictionary definition of a bigot, a person who is obstinately or intolerantly devoted to his or her own opinions and prejudices, especially one who regards or treats the members of a group with hatred and intolerance. And so Modern Medusa, she kind of doubles down, and good for her, you know, defending Blair White against this guy. And you know, it seems to me that this John Bon guy, and I've seen this with a few others, they completely miss the point of the anti-social justice genre, right? So I would say that I follow this movement, this counterculture, whatever you want to say, pretty well. I watch a lot of mainstream individuals, from Sargon of Akkad and Dave Rubin on the left to Gavin McInnes, Milo Yiannopoulos, those two tend to be, and Steven Crowder more on the right. Then Bering, who's just kind of himself, he's Bering, and everybody in between, Chris Reagan, etc., right? So I follow these guys, Blair White especially also.
I'm never gonna dance again. Guilty feet have got no rhythm.
And the main theme for all of these content creators is not that they're against trannies. It's that they're against the state's use of force to force people to be politically correct, right? I think if you could draw one line for all of them, even Dave Rubin and Sargon of Akkad, who tend to lean left, right, and Steven Crowder and Gavin McInnes on the right, one of the main things that they could agree on is that they are completely against the use of governmental force to impose politically correct rules and laws against people, right? That's what Professor Jordan Peterson up at the University of Toronto is advocating against, right? He's not saying that, being a tranny is bad, or being transgender is bad, or whatever, right? What he's saying is that he's against the bill, the Canadian proposed bill, which would make it enforceable by the law to not use somebody's preferred gender pronouns, right? So this guy, John Bond, is totally misguided when he starts accusing Modern Medusa of being an SJW and being politically correct, or bringing in Blair White just to be politically correct, which is what his assertion was that would be the only reason why you would want to bring in Blair White for a pinup calendar supporting men's rights. Forget about the fact that Blair White speaks about men's rights. Forget about the fact that she is a very vocal and powerful activist for men's rights. But instead, let's just blanketly accuse anybody who supports someone who supports men's rights as being an SJW or being some sort of politically correct individual is entirely false. It's entirely false. All right. Instead, what you need to look at is that what Modern Medusa and Ren are proposing is a free market capitalist solution to a problem that they see. They see a problem where the word about men's rights and men's health, they don't get as much publicity as women's health. So they see a problem, and they're looking to fill it with a solution with a pinup calendar. All right, and they could choose whoever they want to be in this pinup calendar. They could choose anybody who's willing to be in the pinup calendar. If they want them to be in the pinup calendar, then that's a agreed contract between two consenting adults. Then that's their choice. Nobody is forcing you, John Bon Jovi, to freaking buy it, right? Or to use anybody's preferred gender pronouns. And let's go on that real quick. When I see Blair White, this is kind of the difference between free speech advocates and the politically correct social justice warriors, right? Who are using the government to force preferred gender pronouns, is that me, I would consider myself a pretty average individual, when I see Blair White, right? If I didn't know anything about Blair White and I saw her, I see a woman. My mind, I see her and my brain says woman, okay? Our issues with people like Riley Dennis, right? Is that its name? Yeah, I had to Google that real fast. Our issue with Riley Dennis and these social justice individuals who consider themselves to be transgender, who are transgender or whatever, right? Our issues with them is not that they're transgender, right? My issue with Riley Dennis and his ilk are not that he was born a male and then wants to become a female. My issue is that when I see Riley Dennis, I see a dude. My brain says dude who looks like freaking Jay off of Jay and Silent Bob, right? With the long hair, right? That's what I see. So I'm going to call him a dude, right? Just like I would call Bruce Jenner, who's now Caitlyn Jenner, a dude, because he still looks like a dude. right? But when you see somebody like Blair White, who looks like a chick, you know, that's the difference, right? And so it's not about, you know, that we hate transgender people. That's never been the issue. Nor is the issue that we are not accepting that this gender dysphoria is not a mental disorder. Blair White, if you actually cared to watch her videos, talks about this. She talks about how it's a mental disorder, and we all know this. The point is so what? Like, so what? If you don't want to look at it, don't look at it. If you don't want to see the calendar, you don't want to see Blair White, you don't want to watch her, that's fine. Nobody's forcing you to. But to be so stuck on this, oh, you know, it's gender dysphoria. Yeah, we know that. So what, right? The issue is the use of power, whether it be the government or college, institutionalized power, to force me to call Riley Dennis a chick when I clearly see a guy, right? Or that dude who wanted to be, who says he's a 6-year-old girl or whatever, looks like freaking Danny DeVito in drag, right? Like, that's a dude in drag, right? My brain says that's a dude. Right, but when you see people like Blair White, Bailey J, I'm trying to think of famous trannies, and I can't think of any. Those are the only two that I could think of. But you know, my brain and most men's brains see that without any knowledge of, hey, that they're a tranny, and think that's a chick. Right? You go to Thailand, right, and you see these trannies that you don't know which ones are the trannies and which ones are the trannies, which ones aren't the trannies, right? It's because it's what your brain tells you, right? So whether you want to have sex with them or not is totally different. That's a different topic. That's a different issue, okay? But what we are against is the institutionalized power to force you to call Blair White a female, okay? So if you don't want to buy this calendar, don't buy the calendar. If you don't want to call Blair White a female, don't call her a female. Call her a dude. She doesn't seem to really give a crap about your opinion. So fuck it. Then why are you even commenting, right? But if Modern Medusa and Ren and whomever wish to invite Blair White to be a part of a men's health initiative, then fuck you for trying to step in the way of that. All right, fuck you for, you could criticize, say whatever the fuck you want. Nobody cares. But to try and say that Modern Medusa is being just trying to be politically correct is patently false. And I think that you're pretty bigoted to think that is the reason. That's the only reason, because clearly you haven't gone onto Blair White's pages and looked at any of the comments, because let me tell you, there are plenty of dudes who are lining up to try and get with her. So, whatever, dude. That's my response to that. Hopefully you guys like and subscribe. This Wednesday, that's in 2 days, May 17th, we're having another live podcast, or live cast, live stream, live whatever, with myself and Housetop. Check us out. It's going to be a little bit later. It's going to be at 2200 Eastern Standard Time or 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on my channel. Check us out. And until then, generic sign off.
Old pirates, yes, they rob I, sold I to the merchant ship. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit, but my hand